Who do we become when the person we vowed to stand by turns into a shadow of who they were? What happens to promises when appearances fade and reality becomes inconvenient? Do vows mean anything when tested by fire, or are they only meant for sunny days and clear skies? He was once the pride of the nation, a brave soul draped in stars and stripes. She was his everything, the woman who promised forever. But forever can feel awfully short when the lights dim and the world turns dark. Literally. This is the story of Staff Sergeant Daniel Carter, a man who gave his sight for his country, and the woman who gave up on him. If real-life stories get you breathless, then this channel is for you. Kindly subscribe to this channel to get our real stories on daily basis. Stay tuned for the real story. Before the sandstorms and shrapnel, there were slow Sunday mornings, laughter over pancakes, and whispered, "I love you" that felt like they could conquer time. Daniel Carter met Emma while jogging through Central Park. She had dropped her phone, he picked it up. A cliché beginning, maybe, but their love was anything but. Daniel, disciplined and selfless, had served in the U.S. Army for over a decade. Emma, a school teacher, was his sanctuary from the chaos. She knew the risks of loving a soldier, but she said she'd never love a man who wasn't brave enough to risk everything for what he believed in. They married under a willow tree surrounded by family and friends. When Daniel received orders for a final deployment to the Middle East, Emma cried, but she kissed him fiercely and whispered, "Come back to me, whole or broken. I'll be here." He believed her. The mission was routine. It always is until it isn't. A roadside explosion sent metal tearing through the Humvee. Daniel was the only one who survived, but the blast seared his corneas and left his face bruised and eyes beyond repair. The darkness came not just from the injury, but from the realization he'd never see the world or Emma again. Back in the U.S., the reception was heroic, the headlines praising the blind patriot. But heroism doesn't fill the silence of a cold bed, or soothe the sting when a wife stops holding your hand. First, Emma tried. She helped him walk, cooked his meals, and even sat through his long therapy sessions. But as weeks bled into months, patience turned to resentment. Her smiles faded, her tone sharpened. She began coming home late, with flimsy excuses that didn't require sight to see through. Daniel never accused her. He never raised his voice. He just waited, and hurt. One night, Daniel heard a voice he didn't recognize in their bedroom. A man, confident, too familiar. The sheets rustled, and whispers filled the dark. He asked her the next morning, "Was someone here?" Emma scoffed. "You're blind, Daniel. You probably heard the neighbor's TV." But it wasn't the neighbor. It was Alex, the friend from work. Their affair bloomed shamelessly in the house Daniel built with his veterans' benefits. Emma forgot the man who once took bullets for his country. She saw only the man who now knocked over cups and fumbled with spoons. Daniel felt every betrayal but bore it in silence. In the dark, even tears are invisible. She grew bolder. Daniel once overheard them laughing about him as they drank wine in the living room, thinking he was asleep upstairs. Alex referred to him as Captain Useless. Emma didn't correct him. She laughed. It was on a rainy Tuesday that Daniel decided, if this was the end, he wouldn't go down broken. He began researching, dictating searches to voice-activated assistants, secretly connecting with his former army doctors. There was a new experimental ocular surgery on the horizon. Risky, painful, but with a glimmer of hope. Emma was too distracted to notice the appointments, too preoccupied with stolen kisses and late-night rendezvous. The procedure took 12 hours. When the bandages came off, the world was blurry, but slowly, light returned. Shapes, faces, details. He didn't tell Emma right away. Instead, he watched her, truly watched for the first time in years. He saw the lipstick stains she tried to wipe, the lingering hugs with her friend, the unlocked phone glowing with texts. "Can't wait for him to fall asleep. We'll take the house and his pension soon." The woman he loved was gone. One morning, Daniel sat at the kitchen table and stared at her. Emma, still in her robe, looked up lazily. "Why are you smiling?" "I can see you," he said calmly. Her face dropped. What? The surgery worked. 3 weeks ago. Panic flickered in her eyes. I saw everything, Emma. Heard even more. I know about Alex. I know about the betrayal. I saw the woman you've become. She stuttered, trembled, and finally left. No apology. No remorse. Just fear. Daniel packed her things and changed the locks. He filled the silence with music, the gym, the company of fellow veterans. He started mentoring blind soldiers, giving hope where he once had none. His story inspired interviews, speaking engagements, even a book deal. Emma, meanwhile, faced a different fate. Alex had never loved her. Once Daniel cut her off financially, Alex disappeared, with her savings, jewelry, and dignity. Her credit was ruined, her apartment foreclosed. She worked 2 jobs just to afford rent in a rundown part of town. Loneliness crept in where lust used to live. Regret painted itself across every wrinkle she saw in the mirror. When her pride finally cracked, she returned to Daniel's door, gaunt and tearful. Please, I made a mistake. I was scared. I was selfish. I see that now. Can you forgive me? Daniel looked at her, not with bitterness, but with clarity. No, Emma. I forgave you long ago in my heart, but I'll never forget. I'll never take you back. She collapsed in tears on his doorstep. He didn't slam the door. He simply walked away, into a brighter world. They say love is blind, but perhaps love sees more clearly than we ever imagine. It sees not the body, but the soul. Daniel Carter loved with a depth that most never reach, but love alone cannot heal betrayal. He learned the hardest lesson of all. Sometimes the people we fight for are not worth the wounds we carry. But he also learned this: resilience is stronger than heartbreak. Dignity is louder than vengeance. And sometimes healing begins not in the eyes, but in the heart. What would you have done in Daniel's shoes? Would you have forgiven her? Taken her back? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your reflections and join the conversation below.